You need a logo, but not just any logo, you need a great logo. Let's take a look and see what goes into smart, effective logo design that looks great and makes an impact. Before we make a great logo, we need to talk about what exactly a logo is and how it differs from your brand and your identity. Your brand is the external emotional perception of your company. It's the gut feeling people get when they think of the business. When you think Nike, you think active. When you think Apple, you think sleek. Now, identity is the tangible and visual elements of the brand. Identity includes things like your products and services, employee uniforms, and advertisements. Examples would be red shirts and khaki pants that Target employees wear, or the Italian cuisine at the Olive Garden. Now, the logo is the mark, the icon of your company. It is the visual representation of your brand in the simplest form possible. Logos are easily identifiable, eye-catching, and most of all, memorable. If I say golden arches, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get into it. The first element to great logo design is scale. What looks good at one size doesn't always look good when it's blown up or shrunk down. Take a look at the logo mock-up on the slide. Looks pretty good on a t-shirt. But see what happens when we scale down the logo to fit on a pen. You can barely read Brio, let alone promotions. I'd be pretty bummed out if I ordered 10,000 pens and they arrived looking like this. A great logo design looks good whether it's on a billboard or a poker chip. Next, let's talk about contrast. A great logo should pop. It's important that a logo stand out and is easy to read or recognize. Look at the examples here. This blue and gray color scheme is not doing anyone any favors. It's actually making my eyes hurt. Ah, much better. Notice how the white and blue really stand out against each other. Think of how many sports teams use white and blue as their team colors. Even innovative logos use tried and true basics to make themselves stand out. Speaking of color, there's a few fundamentals to keep in mind when it comes to your logo's color scheme. A basic rule to follow is to keep your logo one or two colors. I know. What about Google? There's always exceptions, but typically too many colors are confusing to the eye. In this example, it's hard to make out the individual words. B Pro, EDO, what's even happening here? Using less colors and limiting how many colors there are in a single word makes a logo far more readable and way less busy. This is a trend that has been gathering even more momentum as brands start to market in ways other than mail and print. Now we have television, social media, mass marketing. We live in a world of fast-paced visual media. If your logo doesn't stand out, customers will forget about it. I'm betting everyone would get top marks on the whose logo is this test because these are perfect examples of masterful logos. Some are literal. The Apple logo is an apple. Some, like the Pepsi logo, are way more abstract. But either way, they are immediately recognizable no matter the context. Speaking of literal and figurative logos, sometimes people believe that the best way to convey what their business does in a logo is to just spell it all out literally. Let's say you have a housing business. Makes sense to put a house in your logo, right? Well, maybe, but there are some best practices to consider. Remember what we learned about scalability? The first example on the top left would look terrible on a pen. But if we start to break down the house into its constituent parts, we can get more and more abstract while still conveying the identity of the business. The last example on the lower right is just a bendy line, but all we see is the roof of a home. And here we have some examples that are a little bit closer to home. These examples all communicate lobster without showing a literal picture of a lobster, which is fine with me because honestly, lobsters are scary looking. So what are the takeaways for a great logo? Keep it simple. Make sure it looks good no matter what size it is. Take advantage of contrast and don't use too many colors. And use figurative imagery to create a stylish, impactful logo that people will remember. Thanks for watching. If you love this kind of stuff just as much as we do, we have more videos to check out. And hey, if you have a killer logo, why not give Brio Custom a shout? There are literally millions of brandable products out there. Let Brio help you find the right solution for your next project. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.